I'm Chris, and this is my first Nitro RC video. I'm wearing this because my hair is long, and I have to have that fan on in this video because there's mosquitoes are so bad in Houston, Texas. So I'll just let you know what's going on. I've been into Nitro RC for 2 weeks, and today we're gonna do a Revo or Revo Traxxas big block conversion. Let's get started. So I picked this up for $75, and the engine is blown on it. He told me that. So this is the LRP engine we're going to be putting on there. You can see the size difference. It's a lot bigger. We're not going to be doing any cutting or any weirdo stuff I've seen in other videos. So with this engine, we cannot put a pull start on here at all. Not one of those 90-degree drives, easy start. Nothing fits on there. This thing is like right there. The only option we have is to start this with a drill. This has a one-way bearing on the inside, and this thing does not pull out. It's pressed in, so you have to do your research. But if you want a big block on your Revo without cutting it up and moving stuff around, you're gonna have to get this style, and we're gonna start it with a drill. You know what's going on, so you don't freak out and get mad. Here's the ad for the big block kit. Traxxas sells it. This is all that I have of that kit. Make a note that your old exhaust pipe is completely different. The kit does come with this style pipe, so the boot should stay the same, but you're going to need this gasket right here. I have no idea the part number, just letting you know. Make a note of the angle of the carburetor, and that is straight down. So this is the original flywheel clutch. They had this on here. I'm just going to leave it on there to test it. So I don't know what this is called yet, but he had too big of a gear on there and it was too tight. But we are using a 15 tooth. The cone, the flywheel, so it does have that little nut on there, righty tighty, lefty loosey. So on that nut, we're gonna put one of those coated Traxxas washers. You have to do that when you go up to a bearing. Make sure that spins freely. Now we have a little gap right there. We're gonna put another little coated washer, and we're just testing it right now. We're using this little spacer. Either find the correct size spacer, stack the washers, but we need a little bit of play in and out. We don't have it, so this is too tight, but we're going to use it to test. So notice how the factory throttle linkage is pretty much in a straight line. We need to make this one in a straight line. So on the big block motor mount, get it like that. We're using the holes farthest that way, right there. But in order to get our throttle linkage straight, we have to use this spacer right there, and then this one right here. It's going to seem like it doesn't fit right. You want to get this screw right here first. This is the hardest screw to get in there, and you're going to hit your little engine block a little bit. Okay, you're going to kind of need that toolkit with a super long driver on there. Just to get an idea, we're about 3/4 inches long. Get this screw in there second. Seems like a stupid step to show, but that's very difficult to get on there. And you see, that's the main throttle linkage part. Okay, the other side, you just use your existing Traxxas motor mount screws. All right, so on your SLAYER REVO, you're gonna reuse this little throttle linkage part. It's gonna go on this inside hole. Remember, that was straight up and down and the angle of the carburetor. And you want this thing to move as freely as possible. I really have only been in this for 2 weeks, but I know all this kind of stuff from real cars and real carburetors, just in case you're seeing me for the first time. I've been building cars and stuff for my whole life. So this is a new engine, so you're gonna have to loosen that, twist this carburetor around, and you're gonna find where it moves the freest from closed to full throttle. Very, very important. We can do it with our pinky. If it has resistance, you're not clocked right. Go back and do it right. So I'm going to tell you right now, the only issue or rigged up thing we're going to have is the throttle return spring. This is the original one. We're going to try to make it work, but this is the one it comes with. So hopefully we'll figure something out. Take the gas tanks off, go wash this out thoroughly in the sink on the outside, and clean it out with rubbing alcohol on the inside. This engine threw a rod bearing. This is how I got it. It was missing all that stuff, missing the exhaust. It did have these two covers on there, but they took the receiver. It came with no transmitter. Flip it upside down, everything's intact. We do have that cover, but it's missing a battery. So we're gonna get this thing running in this video, so don't worry, we're gonna cover a lot of SLAYER REVO stuff. So with this setup right here and this engine, you don't have to cut and move anything forward. We just don't have an easy start or pull start. Remember that. So let's quickly remove the engine, this handle, and loosen the servo box. You don't have to take the servo box and modify it in any way. All right, baby handles removed. Okay, so when you're doing this work for the first time, always put the screw back where it came off until you learn where they go. Then you throw them all in a pile like that once you learn them. So nothing is touched underneath the motor mounts. Leave that alone 100%. So then just get that out. We're going to reuse this. All right, so this engine through a rod, it's rebuildable, but we're just going to remove it. All you do to your engine is take this all the way out. All you do, get your long drive, move that up, and you can slide right in there, remove this entirely. These two are the same length, and we're going to reuse both of those. One thing I almost left out is the old throttle return spring was screwed right there onto the servo box, and it was hooked like that from the factory. So we would just unhook that spring and then unscrew that. So now the engine should just come right out. There were these two little star washers on both sides right there. So I've already rebuilt one of these. It worked out great. We're going to rebuild this one in a future video. The only thing you need are two of these motor mount screws. So this is not used anymore, and you see what we're left with right here. None of this stuff was touched. Notice this little motor plate extra piece right there. I've seen videos where people are chopping all this up. You don't have to do anything to this box except get it loose. We're not cutting anything in this video. 16 I think will work too, but we're running a 15. All this is ready to go in there. Pull this out of the way, drop that in there. Okay, so we want to get that screw started first down here. Okay, so just line that up, start the screw. Remember, squish that, go in here, and we're just going to snug this up. Do not tighten it. So a tip is, if you don't understand snug, take the handle off, use your fingers to spin it, and once it gets a little tight, stop. Going to get this one in. You can barely see it. The motor can move. We want to feel just a little bit of clearance between those gears. Okay, I got a little bit. It's just something you learn over time, or get you a piece of paper. Okay, so hold one, go back and forth. We have a little bit too much clearance right there, but we're just testing this stuff out. Stick that back and screw it down. So no, we did not cut that box in any way. Everything is moving freely. This guy or girl, whoever, they sabotaged this car because they had the brake cranked down a whole bunch. So what was happening is every time they were giving it throttle, it was just dying. You know, so make sure you got a little play in that spring just to start. Okay, so go back, double check all your engine bolts are tight. See what I'm talking about right here? You have no room, absolutely nothing for a pull start. So a big block on a Revo or a Slayer, this is what you're going to end up with. You're going to have to start this with a drill. So now this rod right here for your throttle, notice how we're not in line right now. So we have to do something about that. You're going to want to bend it like this. This is just a hook for the return spring. We're going to look for a better option. So you see now it's all in line, and we can go ahead and test our throttle movement. Remember, do it with your pinky. Did not cut anything. We are going to drill one hole, and we're going to see it right now. So this cover right here was not cut or anything. What I did was took that back off, and I put that bin further down to clear the box. So the kit came with a longer return spring. We didn't have to use that. We used the stock one. Since this is upside down, we hang it right there. So you want to go ahead and put your hook like that. The cover goes back on. It's not modified in any way. So you're going to want to go ahead and put this little pin back in so this stays closed. And then that little hook, we're going to bring that spring around and hook it right there. Now you could leave it like that if you wanted to, but that's not what we're going to do. Slide it up and down. We're going to try to put a mark on it. And notice how close we can get to that clutch. We really just want it parallel or in line the best we can get it. We can go down a little farther. Okay, then we come to this side, and you can see where it is. We're going to drill a little hole so that thing will clip in there. See how we have our little line? We just need to drill a hole somewhere on that line. And we're also going to put a little bit more of a bend, just a little bit, just like that. That's all, just a little bit more. Take a 1/16 of an inch tiny drill bit, all the way through. Beautiful. Get the little pliers. Come on, in the hole. Oh, it worked. So look how clean that looks. It looks like it came like this from the factory. Now all we need to do is make sure that this thing goes all the way closed. Okay, all the way closed. Need to make sure we go closed every time. If it doesn't, you're gonna have to bend that spring just a little bit more, put some tension on it. The kit comes with a new exhaust bracket to help if you need it. I just moved that one over. The pipe is gonna sit in the same place. Get that boot on there. Okay, you see everything fits perfect. So then we're gonna put the spring on it. Okay. Beautiful. Snug it up. All right, this line right there. So on these LRP engines, when you pinch that fuel line, these things start going crazy. I don't like the way they sound, so I'm not gonna run the little pinchy line thing on there. So I haven't really figured out why they loop it all around crazy, but that's just what I'm running. Running 20%, just fill it up about 3/4 of a tank. Okay, always inspect that fuel line. They like to get split at the ends. Just go buy you a whole bunch of that stuff and inspect it thoroughly every time. So your little glow plug, just make sure it's working, it lights up, good. Okay, so on a high compression engine, if you're having trouble starting it, loosen the glow plug just a little bit. This one is kind of hard to start. Well, this air filter, I washed it really good and put a new element in there, put some oil all up in it. That's very important. All right, let's get this battery and this Opti drive hooked up. The Opti drive, as far as I know, it's just there to keep you from going into reverse while the throttle's pushed down. So they have that quadruple AA battery pack. Just take that thing out, get you one of these rechargeable nickel metal hydride batteries. On the Revo, you have 2 steering servos, one for your throttle and then one 3rd channel baby for the reverse. So there's a lot of people out there who don't know about this. When you have your little charging jack right there, so when this is off, it's sending the power to charge that battery. That's why you get rid of those 4 AA's, or you're gonna be changing them out all the time. I'm not into that. So whenever the switch is on, it's sending that battery power to your receiver. So this did not come with this $75 deal, but this is a TQI with the TSM, which is awesome. So that's why we have 2 channel 1s. I had no idea. So the baby servo goes into the Opti drive, so we don't have to worry about that. So our channel 2 right here goes into channel 2. Okay, so the green, channel 3. So then our 2 steering servos go into channel 1. Oh, you freaking mosquito. And then this is coming from our battery we just added. This is battery channel 5. Ooh, look, it was on. You're using a drill, you're starting on low torque numbers where you can grab this. See, and then slowly work your way up. If you have 1 and 2, you're going to be on low speed. See the revolutions. Now you can also modulate direct current motors, so keep that in mind. Don't be an idiot. Modulate that drill motor. So you're going to watch the fuel, if you can see it, hopefully. We're going to plug this off. All right, there it goes to the carburetor. So if your compression is too tight, loosen your glow plug. We have a little bit loose. We have our igniter ready to go. And let's go ahead and start this thing up. This is a cold start. Oh, it's not even turning. All right. See how we're having to go up. Oh, the glow plug's too loose. Make sure the throttle's closed. Make sure it's blowing oil out. Good. Check that TSM. Got that TSM, look. Blowing plenty of oil out. All right, well, I was actually a little worried about that throttle return spring, and you see what we did there. It looks beautiful. It looks like it came like that. Everything worked out 100% great, except we have to drill start it. Okay, and you see that exhaust, everything looks like it came like this from the factory. Let's put the body on it one last time. I'm gonna leave that body like that. That thing looks awesome, and the blue with the blue, you can't beat that. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.